CCOAL Virtual Community Lead Poison Prevention Program, presented by CCOAL Concerned Citizens Organized Against Lead. Who we are. CCOAL Concerned Citizens Organized Against Lead is the first lead poisoning grassroots community-based organization in the city of Cleveland, established in 2005. Our mission statement is to educate, empower, and collaborate to eliminate childhood lead poisoning within families and communities.
Our objectives today. This workshop will help you prevent childhood lead poisoning. Also know what to do if your child becomes poisoned. Help you stop further exposure to lead hazards if your child has or had lead poisoning. However, our hope is that using the information that we give you, you can prevent your child from becoming poisoned. Okay, our webinar housekeeping rules. I would like to start off announcing a few rules, which is for one, please mute all microphones. For two, questions will be answered at the end of the presentation, and you can also put them in the chat.
There's a lot to learn about the silent epidemic, which is 3 times as bad as Flint, Michigan. CCOAL is here to help give the type of information that can help ourselves and our children. So we asked you to hold on and take notes during the series, and we promise it would be time well spent.
Okay, where's lead? Lead is found in houses and buildings, soil, and water. As we learned from our last webinar series titled, What is Lead? Lead is everywhere. We cannot avoid it, but we can learn how to protect our children and ourselves from it.
We know that lead is in paint that is in our homes that were built before 1978. But what about other products we buy, such as purchases, nail polish, toys, jewelry, clothes? As you see, there are some other products as well, but we can name a few to the right. You have lunch boxes, children lunch boxes at that. We have glazed pottery items as well as ceramic. We have home remedies that a lot of folks may still use today. We have lines on our street that is industrial paint, and we also still have it in our food. I wanted to demonstrate a couple of things. I purchased these earrings, and I like the color. I didn't look at nothing, I just grabbed it because I like the colors of them. But when I was putting them back onto this packet and hooking them up, I seen on the back saying warning, contained lead, cadmium, and nickel. Earrings, especially this big with this color, our babies love grabbing them and they love touching them. And the first thing they're going to do, probably before we can even wash their hands, is put their hands in their mouth, and they just got poisoned. As well as we mentioned some lipstick. I just want to demonstrate this picture, and excuse me for a second, I have to get up. This picture of lipstick, you don't see just lead in it, you see arsenic and other harmful metals and ingredients that could hurt our kids when we kiss them. To name a few, you see the garden hoses. I know I drunk out of them. How about you? When my mom told me I couldn't come back in the house for water or I had to stay in, the garden hose was my best friend.
Here are some more products with lead to view. Because of lead being used in other things besides house paint, we recommend that you check out www.cpsc.gov for recalls.
Lead in our homes and in our building. When homes built before 1978, lead-based paint was used to on the inside and outside of our homes and then inside of buildings. It takes the contents of a sweetened low packet to poison a whole house on 3 levels. Lead in paint becomes dangerous when friction occurs. And that means when we close and shut our doors and our windows, surfaces rub together. Another way to create friction is when our children is running up and down the hallway or down the stairs and their hands is gliding across the cracks of the walls. That is creating friction, which creates lead dust. And lead dust cannot be seen by the eye, but it is on their hand. It's also in the air. They can breathe it and become lead poisoning. Even our demolitions. We have so many demolitions done in our communities, and a lot of them are done improperly. There should be a water hose connected to the fire hydrant and someone standing near water while on that building or house while they're actually knocking it down. The water prevents the dust from getting into the air. How many of us seen the big poofs after demolition and that dust is everywhere? Well, that dust is now traveling 500 feet away from that demolition, getting on our porches, going through our windows, coming through our doors, landing on toys if we have them on the porch, as well as in our grass and soil. If we see anyone doing demolition in our communities and it's not being done with a water hose, please give Building and Housing a call. Their phone number 216-664-2282. Is there lead in your home? It could be possibly coming from the service line that is actually the responsibility of a homeowner that comes from your porch to the street curb before entering the street. Those are probably still leaded pipes that has not been changed out. Also, the paint in our homes, as we said, the faucets, our old piping used to be soldered, all of the metal pipes that you may have in your basement if your home is pre 1978. Actually, 98 is when they start recommending the plastic plumbing start being used, which they call PVC valves or plumbing. Um, and the galvanized pipes were removed.
Okay, that brings us to lead in our soil. It can be bare, nothing can grow, and it can also get into food. So bare soil in our yard or anywhere is an indicator of bad soil. Nothing can grow on it, of course. Lead occurs naturally in soils, typically at concentrations that range from 10 to 50 milligrams per kilogram of soil. That's equivalent of lead per million parts of soil. It is estimated that between 5.9 and 11.7 million children nationwide potentially are exposed to lead in soil or dust.
Because of the widespread use of lead paint before the mid 1970s and leaded gasoline before the mid 1980s, as well as contamination from various industrial sources, urban soils often have lead concentrations much higher than the normal background levels that you heard Ashley speak about. These concentrations frequently range from 150 milligrams per kilograms to as high as 10,000 milligrams per kilograms at the base of a home painted with lead-based paint. Remember, lead is not biodegradable or disappear over time, but it remains in the soil.
So, what can you do? We have 3 steps to reduce potential lead exposures from soil. Number one, leave your shoes at the door. Number two, cover bare soil with grass or mulch. And last but not least, get your home inspected. And Robin has some places where you can go get that done.
We have now in Cleveland our lead resource center, and you can go to www.leadsafecle.org, or you can visit the Ohio Department of Health website for licensed contractors that could come and inspect your home as well as your soil. If you don't live in the city of Cleveland or Ohio, check with your local state health department. What about water? In Cleveland, the water from the city of Cleveland coming to your house probably does not have lead in it due to the safety factors they're doing from the water department. The plumbing in your house may been soldered with lead solder. Again, we're talking about the old metal galvanized plumbing. Cleveland replaced their old lead distribution lines with non-lead pipes. Lead solder was banned in 1986, but again, if your plumbing is pre-mid 1990s, it could be soldered with lead. And remember that lead can leach into your water, especially from the hot water line.
Now, what can you do? We have 3 steps to reduce potential lead exposure from water. So, number one will be to use a filtered water pitcher. Number two will be to run water for 30 seconds to flush the lines. And last but not least, use only cold water to cook with. And Robin has some examples to show you guys today of what you should be using.
What we recommend is to use not just pure, there's other manufacturers out here, but this is a water filter, as well as utilizing a water pitcher. I have a larger one because my family drinks a lot of water. But if you notice, there's 2 compartments. There's a blue and then a clear. In the blue, the water from the faucet deposits into there. If you notice the white tip, the water filters through that. It comes out the dark blue, and then the water is now clear, filtered in the clear piece, and you could drink it and have healthy water. They do have 2-gallon pitchers for smaller families. They also have faucet attachments that can filter water as well, and we recommend those. At this point in time, we are at questions and answers, and we're open for any. And they could either be in the chat or as our host unmute you guys. You can share any questions or answers at this time.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. I was just wondering, what kind of impact does this have on our children?
Oh, wow. I'm glad you're asking that, and I hope you join us for our next upcoming series in January, on January 9th, our series titled Lead Testing and What Does That Mean with the results. What lead is doing to our children is causing a poison to get into their blood, and that blood goes everywhere, and then it causes various symptoms to happen to our children. But what it's actually doing is poisoning our children, which lead then causes lead poisoning. Lead poisoning of our children is what makes it detrimental to them and causes more issues. But again, we could get into more detail in which you have in that question. I hope you join us on our next series coming up with lead testing. And what does that mean? We will be talking about the symptoms. We will be talking more in depth to what lead poisoning is.
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
You're welcome.
My name is Schehera. Hi.
Hi.
I have a question about the water. So, what about when you're hand washing dishes and so forth? You mentioned before about cooking with hot water and not putting hot water in a pot. Is it okay for hand washing dishes in the sink with hot water? Is there a difference there, or do I need to be filtering my water as it comes out the faucet?
If you're filtering your water, then you're totally safe. If it's not a filter, we can't guarantee that lead is not coming through your water, but we just recommend with it rinsing that you try to use it as cool as possible, and then therefore it's not on the surface of any items. So yes, we can use warm water. Yes, we can use that type of temperature to wash our dishes with and things of that nature. But again, before you use your items, you should always rinse it with cold water before you actually use items to drink and eat from anyway. When you were seeing the ceramic and we were talking about the pottery, another indication to look, a lot of times you see black marks on ceramic plates and cups, right? I know my mom got a favorite cup, but when you look in it, it's that ring that is now in there. That's indicating that the glaze that was on that porcelain or that ceramic is now broken, and therefore it can leach lead out as well. So we want to be careful about the markings that could indicate like the glaze is not totally covering that ceramic plate. Also with our old tubs that we may still have in our home. If that white glaze is broken and you can see the black of your tub, then it can leak out lead. So you want to get that reglazed if you're running into that situation. It's not healthy nor safe for us to have that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I got it. Well, I came on a little bit late. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Thank you for
Um,
joining us.
hey, thank you for hosting us again. Um, as you mentioned, there are certain items that a parent or just someone may notice around the house. Did you mention as far as what should someone do if they notice these items around? Like, can you probably just go over like, you know, who should they call, if they're worried about their child may have, maybe chewed on some of those earrings or some things to look for to tell the doctor if necessary.
Well, one thing you want to look for in your home is peeling and chipping paint. That is one of the indicators that lead may be exposed in your home. So when you're walking around, you want to look for peeling and chipping paint. You want to look for any cracks that may be in the wall. Not even the cracks. Sometimes the bad areas we go past and we bump the wall and we hit the corners a lot. Even those things. What we recommend people to do is cover those areas as fast as possible. If you can't afford to paint, as sloppy as it may look, we say put some duct tape over it until you're able. If it's big enough or large enough, then you should put furniture in front of that to prevent a child from being able to reach it. But again, the best thing to do is take your child to get tested. That's the first thing. And again, we'll be talking more about lead testing in our next series coming up on January 9th, same time at 5 o'clock. We will get into more details about that. Another thing you can do is contact your health department. If you got any questions, you can always call us at CCOAL. Again, our numbers is 216-220-6925. You can look on the Ohio Department of Health website and look for a licensed contracted inspector. And if you see any peel and paint, you can contact them to maybe come do a inspection of your home. There's some new programs coming out about for landlords and rental property, that there are homes and loan grants that's going to be offered through Cleveland Housing Network. There is also a lead reduction grant that can be obtained from the Cleveland Community Development Department website. You can get get the application. It's a grant. It's open for first come, first serve kind of thing, but you can apply for that too as well. I hope that answered your question. If we have no other questions, we would like to thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you got some good information for yourself and to share with others. And we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar, January 9th, 2021. Feel free to contact us by the number I gave you, or you can email us at projectinfo216@gmail.com. Before I continue to end this out, I want to also offer Grace Hands as another area to receive some help. They could come and do an inspection or do a consult for you. And that is at 216-254-7566. And through partnership with this program, they are doing RRP training as well, which can help homeowners learn ways to remediate their home in a lead safe way. We will be talking about more of renovation, more about home lead safe cleaning and lead maintenance on our last series that will be January 16th, 2021. And we'll have definitely more information than you need on contractors and anything else. We thank you for this opportunity. We'd like you to subscribe and like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And remember, we will be posting previous webinars on these platforms. And in the future, we plan on posting more videos and contents on this serious subject matter of lead poisoning.